Right now, the whole world seems to be holding its breath, focused on one absolutely critical question. Are the United States and Iran about to go to war? Tensions have hit a real fever pitch, so we're going to unpack what's going on, why it's all happening now, and what could be next.
So, just how close are we to the brink? Well, the first signs are already flashing red. Major world powers are starting to take some pretty drastic steps, and India, a huge player in the region, has just sent out a really urgent warning to all of its citizens currently in Iran.
And the message couldn't be more direct. Just 2 words: leave Iran. Look, when a government tells its people something like that, it's not a suggestion. It's a clear signal that they believe the danger isn't just possible anymore. It's right around the corner.
Which, of course, begs the question, how did we get here? I mean, these tensions have been simmering for decades, so what's pushed them to the absolute boiling point right now? Let's dive in and break down the key things driving this crisis.
Okay, first up, let's just look at what the militaries are doing. Because forget the diplomatic talk for a second. The real story, the stuff you really need to watch, is the movement of troops and equipment on the ground. Those are the loudest signals of all.
The United States has ordered its troops to evacuate several military bases in the Middle East, specifically the ones closest to Iran. Now, this is textbook stuff. You do this for one of 2 reasons. Either you're expecting a major attack, or you're getting ready to launch one yourself. And here's what makes it all so volatile. Iran has made it very clear that if they get hit, they will hit back at U.S. and Israeli bases all across the region.
Now let's switch gears and talk about the American strategy here, because honestly, it's become pretty transparent. The language being used isn't subtle or diplomatic anymore. It's direct, it's public, and it all seems to be pointing toward one very specific goal.
For instance, in a direct message to the anti-government protesters inside Iran, President Trump called them patriots and then promised that help is on its way. If you follow foreign policy, you know this playbook. It's a classic tactic. You publicly back an internal opposition to try and destabilize a government from the inside out.
And then there was this. The slogan, "Make Iran Great Again." I mean, that's pretty unmistakable, right? It's being seen as a really clear signal that, in the U.S. view, the current government has failed and a new, more U.S.-friendly leadership is what's needed. For many, this is basically an open declaration of what they want to see happen.
So when you put all these pieces together, what do you get? A strategy of regime change. This isn't just about economic sanctions or tough negotiations anymore. The apparent goal is the complete replacement of Iran's leadership, using the internal protest movement as the spark.
But here's the thing. It's not just about pressure from the outside. Inside Iran, the government is dealing with this huge, massive wave of internal protests. And its response? Well, it has been absolutely brutal. Let's just talk numbers for a second. The official, confirmed number of protesters who have been killed has hit 2,000. Just let that sink in. That alone is a staggering figure, and it points to an incredibly violent crackdown.
But that's just the official number. Western news outlets, they're reporting a much, much higher figure. They're saying the number of protesters killed is actually closer to 12,000.
And it doesn't even stop there. Some reports are putting that number as high as 20,000 people killed. Now, this huge gap in the numbers tells you 2 things. 1, the chaos on the ground is immense, and 2, there is a massive information war being fought over what's really happening.
You know, it's easy to see this as just a showdown between the U.S. and Iran, but it is so much bigger than that. The entire region is on edge. Key players like Israel and India are being pulled deeper and deeper into this, and both of them have a huge amount at stake.
Now check this out, because this is where history might just be repeating itself. Back in 2025, right before Israel launched an attack on Iran, Prime Minister Netanyahu's plane made a quiet trip to Greece. The thinking is pretty simple. You want to be out of the country when the inevitable counterattack comes. Well, guess what's happening right now? The exact same thing. His plane is in Greece again. For a lot of people watching this, that is not a coincidence. It's a massive red flag.
And this brings us right back to India and that warning they issued. So why are they so deeply involved? Well, for one, India has poured a ton of money into Iran's Chabahar port, which is strategically huge for them. Their top diplomat is in constant contact with Tehran, and maybe most importantly, they are worried about the thousands of Indian citizens who are caught right in the middle of all this. For India, the stakes are both economic and deeply human.
And that brings us to a message from Iran itself, sent out through its embassy in India. They issued this warning to the world, basically saying that countries who stay silent and do nothing aren't going to be safe from the consequences. It's a direct appeal and a reminder that the fallout from a crisis this big could spare no one, big or small.
Okay,
So with all this pressure building, the military moves, the fiery rhetoric, the regional players on edge, where does this all go from here? Well, it really seems to boil down to three main possibilities.
First, you could see a US-backed revolution, where the internal protesters, with help from the outside, actually succeed in overthrowing the government. Second is the one everyone fears, a full-blown regional war, where one single attack sets off a massive and devastating chain reaction. And third, a tense de-escalation. This is where both sides take a step back from the edge, but the core issues are never resolved, just waiting to flare up again another day.
And that really is the ultimate question hanging over everything, isn't it? Is all of this leading to a new government for Iran or a devastating new war for the rest of the world? Whatever the answer turns out to be, it's one the entire globe is going to have to live with.